Today, DHL is the market leader in international express delivery.
DHL, I think it's fair to say, from its origins in the West Coast, spread rather organically, a little bit like a weed or a fast-growing grass across the world. And we literally moved around the back of the world and set up in Fiji and the Pacific, into Australia and New Zealand around 72, 73, reaching Hong Kong on our sort of onward journey, so to speak, by around 75, 76, up into the Middle East and Africa and Europe. So if you go around the back of the map, you know, that expansion just happened week by week, month by month, and year by year until we'd got a complete network. Now, it was a long time before that network was refined to the extent it needed to be to deliver day in, day out for all the sort of Fortune 500 companies that needed us. But it was fair to say that we really did invent international shipping in the sense that we were the first to have a truly integrated international network.
Through a series of mergers and acquisitions, DHL's shipping network grew in the early 2000s. They then acquired Airborne Express, which increased their network within North America and provided them with an express shipping infrastructure on the domestic level.
The choice of expansion or acquisition ultimately became an obvious one in terms of the quantum of domestic network that we needed to be able to satisfy our customer base. We could have built road networks and developed incrementally over time, but the scale of time that would have taken would have had us fall behind our growth plans in the US.
The new DHL is the #1 international express delivery service. Every year, the company carries more than 1 billion shipments with 4,400 local offices, 238 gateways, and 450 hubs, warehouses, and terminals. 72,000 vehicles service more than 120,000 destinations in over 200 countries and territories worldwide. DHL services 4.2 million customers around the world and brings in revenues of over $50 billion annually.
The ability for us to service our customers with our own offices as opposed to agents is critical. I think to have our own people in these far-flung locations and in the major metros allows us to convey the true value of proposition to these staff that are in uniform and are working to support and do everything to live out the values of the true brand, whereas that's not so easy to achieve with agents that may be working for a multiple of other vendors. I think also the fact that we rapidly expanded into the movement of product. Whilst we started off with documents, and documents were important to the shipping companies and the banks that were our very first customers, rapidly we needed to service the needs of automobile companies, aviation organizations that either had vehicle off-road, aircraft on ground, and in the early days it was literally those emergency situations that would have someone entrust a shipment to DHL and pay the premium for service and reliability and trust, then have their traditional, at the time, freight forwarder or mode of transport complete the transaction of that movement. But it was quite soon that need for emergency moved into more the fulfillment of normal transfer of parts.
In order to meet the customer's expectations of speed and reliability, DHL needs to maintain efficient operations in every step of the sorting and delivery process.
The customer will call up and advise us that they have a package ready. Some will call up and ask for pricing or how to move this package with DHL, but assuming they know that, they will call and say, I have a package, it is going to this certain destination, it's light or it's heavy and you need to bring a trolley, and we will then dispatch a courier. It is quite likely that if it's a large customer, the courier will have a pre-scheduled pickup with that particular customer every day. So whether it's pre-scheduled or it's an ad hoc pickup, we will then go to the customer within 15 minutes of when they requested us to be there, and we will pick up either the document or the packages. We will perform certain scanning activities at the particular customer site that gives us a proportion or nearly all of the data that relates to the shipper, the receiver, the weight, and what the contents are and where it's going to. We will then transport that package, after picking up many others, back to our service center.
Scanning the barcode allows both DHL and the customers to track the package on its journey.
Every airway bill has a tracking number and a barcode, which is the catalyst for enabling you to track that package. And it's the one piece of information, if you have nothing else about the shipper or the receiver, which in some cases happens, it'll allow us to perform the tracking for you if you call up our customer service department, and that historically was where most of our track and tracing function was done through. Over time, as we put shipment processing equipment in customers' offices, or they're able to access the web, they can perform the track and trace of a particular shipment through the web or through their own shipment processing equipment by putting the airway bill details into the system. At the click of a button, they'll be able to see the stage of the journey that that shipment is up to, if it hasn't already been delivered. The purpose of track and trace, and it was introduced in DHL in sort of 1986, is fundamental to the peace of mind of the customer, I suppose.
From the local service office, the package is shipped to the hub for sorting. Once packages are sorted, they are shipped to a regional sorting facility. Sometimes the facility is a gateway where all international shipments must go to clear customs before they can leave the U.S.
DHL in the United States and in South America employ what's called a regional hub system. Our hub in the United States is Cincinnati, and we have gateways, as we're in right here, Miami, JFK, Dallas, LA, San Francisco. All of the material is fed through the hub system. A package is going from Miami, is going to Orlando, Florida, even though it's only about 300 miles. It travels from Miami on an aircraft to the Cincinnati hub, is sorted, and goes back to Orlando on another aircraft. A gateway is usually a port where we actually service the DHL service centers, which are the local deliveries and pickup points. And also, we actually do the exporting to foreign destinations. In this case, Miami, we service all of Latin America. That's the difference between a hub and a gateway. A hub, like our Cincinnati hub, primarily services gateways, like us. Primarily, we here at Miami Gateway, our work week is Tuesday through Saturday. We have two basic shifts, AM shift and a PM shift. The AM shift starts approximately 4 a.m. and goes to about 3 p.m. The PM shift goes from 3 p.m. till about midnight. We have 200 employees here at Miami Gateway that are all DHL employees. We have about 65 operations employees here in the morning shift. Bulk of them come in around 7:30 in the morning. That's when our major aircraft start arriving, around 7:15, 7:30. They work pretty much till 2 o'clock, full bore all the way. And mainly it's aircraft arriving from our Cincinnati hub, from our Panama hub, from Venezuela. In the evening shift, it's mainly an outbound operation. All the service centers are bringing their material that they collected during the day, and they get here, and then the aircraft are loaded, and they go out to South America, they go out to Cincinnati. So in the morning, it's an inbound operation. In the afternoon and evening, it's an outbound operation.
Local vehicles pick up packages, sometimes in large containers, from the regional sort center and take them back to their service centers for the fine sort into individual delivery routes. Couriers then pick up the packages for their route and deliver directly to the customer. International delivery requires some extra steps because packages must be cleared through U.S. Customs, which is on site at the gateways.
Originally, at Miami Airport, U.S. Customs is in a facility off airport. And so in order to clear international material, you had to bring it to them in case of inspection. DHL being such a large volume mover, we were causing backlogs in the system. So approximately 11 years ago, we got together with U.S. Customs, and we contracted with the U.S. government to have customs in our own facility.
Since 2002, DHL has focused on strengthening its express delivery service within the United States.
It was quite clear that we needed to have a more clear strategy for the US and our business here in order that we really had three strong legs to the stool. And I do describe it a bit like a stool in terms of the main geo regions of the world, Asia, Europe, and the US. They really need to be equally strong because many of the organizations that trade with DHL have a big presence in the US. And at that time, we had one leg of the stool that was perhaps not as strong as where we are in Asia and Europe, where our investment in infrastructure, our investment in technology, and our investment in the air network is absolutely unparalleled. That was not the case in the US, which brought us to the arrangement and the deal that we concluded with Airborne, which gave us an immediate leg up in terms of being a very respected and definite third player at the time in the market.
Over the past few years, DHL has built on Airborne's domestic network. 700 daily flights now serve the U.S. That's in addition to 800 daily flights in Asia, 500 in Latin America and Mexico, and 300 in Europe. DHL has 500 local offices in the U.S., in addition to more than 3,200 retail locations. They have a ground fleet of more than 18,000 vehicles. DHL operates 5 U.S. gateways, 2 air and ground hubs, and 19 regional sort centers. Recently, they have added 7 new sort centers and have expanded both their East Coast and West Coast distribution facilities. With their experience and service options, DHL seems well placed to challenge U.S. market leaders FedEx and UPS.
Service is the best thing we can offer the customer. Nobody else can provide the types of service that we provide, whether it's special one-on-one shipments or whether it's an everyday shipment that we move 5 days a week for a customer on a regular basis. We can provide a better service, quicker service to more parts of the world than anybody else.
How DHL see themselves as differentiating is really around flexibility, responsiveness, and people. And after all, I think it's probably those 3 areas that allow someone who is within our customer base and within the realm of shipping function to go home at the end of the day and say, I had a good day in shipping today. And if you say, why would that happen? It would be that we arrived on time. It would be that we turned up to pick up the shipments at that time. It may mean that we gave him consultative advice as to how he could ship something or how long the transit time would be there before that particular consignment arrived. So whatever it is, I think between our salespeople, our customer service and our couriers, we're displaying the attributes of responsiveness, flexibility, and above all, the human touch. I think that's where DHL seeks to differentiate ourselves.